Hey, it's Chris here with some Monday motivation. Satchel Paige, Hall of Fame professional baseball player, once asked this important question. How old would you be if you didn't know how old you was? I love that question. Paige's career spanned 5 decades. He made his major league debut in the pros when he was 42, played his last game when he was 59. By the way, that's still the record. How old would you be if you didn't know how old you was? After you cross the 50-year-old threshold, questions like that matter. When you get north of 60, like me, they really matter. I'm currently reading through the book of Joshua, and when I hit Joshua 12 and 13, something stood out to me. See if this clicks with you. Joshua 12 contains a list of king after king after king after king, of territory after territory after territory after territory, where God had given Joshua and the nation of Israel victory after victory after victory after victory. These guys had been on a winning streak. But then Joshua 13 opens with these words. When Joshua had grown old, the Lord said to him, "You are growing old, and much land remains to be conquered." God then describes all the land. But as I read these verses, it occurred to me, it's almost like God was saying to Joshua, Josh, look at all I've done through you and for you. That's the list in chapter 12. And he's reminding Josh, you didn't win all those battles we just rehearsed through your own strength and ability. I was working in you, through you, for you. Look at the battles we won. Look at the opposition we overcame. We did it together. Josh, I'm still the same. I'm still for you. And I still want to bring my people into their inheritance. But you, Josh, to be frank, you're growing old. You're getting tired. You've started believing it's about what you can do, not what I want to do through you. Josh, whatever you do, don't cash out. Not now, not yet. Age, Josh, may slow your step and decrease your strength, but it doesn't have to diminish your faith, lower your expectations, shrink your leadership, and relegate you to the sidelines. There's still territory my people need to take. You are still my man. Are you ready? Are you willing? What made this plain to me is what happens in chapter 14. Josh is visited by one of his peers, the only other guy who had chosen to believe God in that group of 12 spies 45 years prior. Caleb and his small group, I call them the Praise and Promise Posse. They asked Josh for a meeting. While Joshua has apparently started living out of memory, Caleb is still living out of imagination. He's still living on faith. Check out what he says to Joshua in chapter 14, verse 6. You know what the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, at Kadesh Barnea, about you and me. I was 40 years old, in other words, prime of life, when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me to explore the land. I brought him back a report according to my convictions. Now then, just as the Lord promised, He's kept me alive for 45 years since the time he said this to Moses. So here I am today, get this, 85 years old. As vigorous to go out to battle now as I was back then. So I love verse 12. Give me this mountain that the Lord promised. Boom. Get this. Caleb wasn't thinking about retiring to single level living. He was still dreaming about running up steps and climbing mountains. The contrast between he and Joshua couldn't be more stark. Joshua 13 opens with Josh thinking about retirement. Joshua 14 includes a cameo of his colleague Caleb thinking about reactivation, re-engagement, ready to take a mountain. Not only that, Caleb was not only ready to climb mountains, he was ready to pick a fight with a group of giants. Check out verse 12. You heard yourself then that the Anakites, the giants, were there. Their cities were large and fortified. But the Lord helping me, I'll drive them out just as God said. Let me be really, really blunt today in this Monday motivation. Retirement isn't a biblical concept. Now by that, don't get upset. I don't mean stepping away from a formal job is sinful or unbiblical, but here's what I do mean. Stepping away from calling, purpose, destiny, God's dream, it's never an option. In fact, it's deadly. For some reason, I'd never seen the contrast between Joshua and Caleb as vividly as I recently saw it. Joshua was thinking about and had somehow bought the lie that his age had sidelined him to a boring life. Caleb was thinking about his next adventure. Joshua was thinking about moving to a retirement community in South Florida and clipping coupons with his senior citizens group. Caleb was joining CrossFit, signing up for the next Ironman competition, and pursuing the dream he had carried for 45 years. Here's the question: how old would you be if you didn't know how old you was? Charles Arnn nailed it years ago when he wrote, "Old age begins in the head. How old you are isn't nearly as important as how old you feel and act and think you are." As we grow older, we have to make a decision. Will we opt for the mindset of Joshua or Caleb? Will we live on memory or live in imagination? Will we choose to believe that we still have purpose? Or will we start to buy the lie that our best years are behind us? In his excellent book, Didn't See It Coming, author and podcaster Carey Nieuwhof wrote the following: "The best years for leaders who are able to communicate with the culture often seem to happen somewhere between 45 and 75, if you pay attention. These can be not only your peak earning years, but also your peak contributing years. Growing older doesn't necessarily mean growing irrelevant." So today, Monday Motivation, what's it going to be for you? Will you be the person who frames their AARP card and starts living as if life is over? Or will you be like Caleb, the guy who says, "I'm older, but I'm wiser. I'm as strong today as I was 45 years ago. They're still fighting me. Don't give me the easy job. Give me the hard one. Give me this mountain. Because if God's for me, who can be against me? I'm ready to claim every promise God has given. If I'm not dead, God is not done. I still have a purpose. God still has a plan, and I'm here for it all." Have a great Monday.